But have the right mindset, talk to the right people. Relationships take you longer.
Unfortunately, often opportunities that might be for entry level candidates might not always be advertised, and it's useful to just get in contact with people and talk.
You'll often hear people recommending networking when you're researching new careers or trying to find work, and that's very true for the third sector as well. Sometimes people wonder, is it really okay to just reach out to someone I've never met and start talking to them? Well, here's a few perspectives from some of the speakers and employers who came to our International Development and Charities Festival.
And I think anyone who's interested can go out looking for organisations that appeal to them, and they can approach them. And even if you can just simply go and have a chat for an hour, I would say I've had a lot of what I call career chats, and people will come in and, you know, just explore. I can explore with them what they're thinking of, what they want to do, and so on. And out of that will come something. You will help that person move forward in their thinking. And occasionally you find a fantastic fit between what you're doing and what they're aspiring to.
It's very much about putting yourself out there, even if it's not necessarily being advertised, because quite often there's, I'm sure everyone will agree, there's a list of projects on the wall that big that you'd love someone to get their teeth into. And if somebody comes across and goes, oh, I'm up for helping with that, or, you know, be it on a voluntary basis or a paid basis, it's good to know people are out there, because quite often we don't have time to go find people.
Hopefully that's given you some reassurance that it's okay to reach out to people, and indeed they might even enjoy talking about their own career history with you, or want to support and help someone who's at an earlier stage, or even really need your help and want to hear from you because there's something you can offer them. Now we've dealt with that part of it, the next thing to think about is, how do you find these people to talk to, and what are the sorts of topics that you might use to strike up a conversation?
So I volunteered for a small NGO in Italy, where I was spending most of my year abroad. The way I found this organization was literally by looking at all the NGOs working in development in the town that I was moving to and emailing basically everything that looked interesting. That was a very tedious task, but it paid off.
Think outside the box. Have you got any friends of your family, friends of your friends, people who you went to school with, teachers who you went to school with, someone who might work in the charity sector or have worked in the charity sector? Because that's a really, really good way in to have an introduction from someone who already works there or who knows about it.
Actually, even just being in, you know, the office where you're hearing people having conversations, and you get to talk to people who have got different jobs within a charity, and you get to just go and ask them about how they got there. And I think that was how I first kind of recognised monitoring and evaluation as a specific kind of sector or part of an organisation, and really spoke to the guy who was there doing that and sort of found out about how you can use that for different organisations. And that was, I think that was for me kind of, even though I wasn't so interested in the kind of the fundraising element of working for a charity, just taking any sort of temporary job to get your foot in the door and meet more people.
Everyone has LinkedIn these days, and sometimes just a conversation, reaching out to someone that you see that has a job that looks interesting to you, and just learning more about their organization or what their day-to-day work is like can be helpful. And then you make connections, and it's really helpful in future applications to have connections in organizations that you might want to work for.
If it was me sitting there in the audience, I would be taking down the names of everyone here, emailing them all and saying, thank you so much for speaking on the panel. If you have any volunteering opportunities, or you know of any in this sector or that sector, or in this part of the city or the country, let me know, because I will always go out of my way to try and connect people to other organizations and other people I know.
You'll have heard there's some ideas about the sorts of things that you can talk to people about during networking conversations. You could offer to help them, ask them about their own career history, ask them for recommendations of other organisations to approach. Here's a couple more ideas that you might find useful.
I think it's also important to look at the job description itself and see what the tasks involve, and ask yourself, can you do that? And if you don't really know, or if you don't really understand, going back to my previous point, it's really helpful to just talk to someone and ask them about it in the organization. Not even to ask them for that job, but to find out what that job would actually look like, and to evaluate whether you could do that.
You know, for example, if I wanted to work in homelessness, I would have gone to the vigil last night. I would have checked Twitter of all these random organizations, gone to the vigil and said, look, I was at this vigil for the 12,000 1,286 people who died. It was really moving, and I really want to campaign to stop that happening. And I understand that this organisation campaigns to the government to stop that happening. Can I help?
If you would like some more inspiration about how these sort of networking conversations can go, we have a whole series of videos where we put current Cambridge students in touch with employers working in development and charities, and you can see what their conversations look like here. We've also got a video on networking in the development and charity sector, and another one on speculative applications, where you're the person who initiates the conversation and reaches out and asks for a position, even though the organisation in question might not necessarily be advertising it. We hope you find all of these videos useful, and we wish you lots of luck as you explore your career in the third sector.